Flame Nils. That's the only one that's left.
Yeah, my brushes are kind of quiet.
I'm looking for my bases.
Always looking for your bases notes. Well, OTNG, we are live. I'm dying. Season 2, episode 14. And tonight we have Ethan, Nils, and Peter. The regulars. The veterans.
The regular show.
The legionnaires. I don't know what else I got. Three's my limit.
3 caballeros.
When we last left our heroes, you had visited the mine. The mine, northeast of Crossings, in an effort to recover some ore that the marching New Gods army was demanding in tribute, lest they burn Crossings burn, loot, pillage, raise Crossings.
All of the above.
All of the above. You had visited the mines, found a palisaded camp, ascended the hill, and descended the mine shaft, the first mine shaft that you, encountered, where you came upon a scene of a battle and a winch. In grinding the winch, you had drawn the attention of.
Was there a winch winding the winch?
There was a winch. There was a winch winding the winch. Wench winding the wench. Yeah. And let's see, drew the walking dead out of the darkness. You drove them off with powerful magics. And a keen blade, I suppose. Who's with you tonight? What 3 heroes are now with you as you catch your breath in the darkness, in the shadowy gloom of the torchlight?
It's a fantastic question.
Peter,
who would you like to bring?
Well, I was going to say who you guys have, and
we have a new hero.
Right.
That was introduced last session. Sorry. Kufa. Yep. Morgan, Gideon, 808, Ichabod, and Opie are in your stables.
Next,
who will you bring to the table?
Well, you know what? I think I'd like to bring Ichabod because he's just...
He hasn't seen play in a little while.
He hasn't. So I'd like to bring Ichabod.
Great.
Does anybody need to screen share, or is that being taken care of?
We still need it up. That would be helpful.
Okay. Clear out my character sheet. Go to chat. Okay.
All right. Well, I will keep playing. I'll bring you Kufa today just to keep things a little bit interesting. Allow his character to flourish a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, to get to know you, Kufa.
Exactly.
Nils, who will you bring?
I think I'll bring 808 just because it doesn't seem to be, it's a more of a errand run job kind of thing as opposed to let's clear out the evilness kind of something.
That's what we think it is.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not.
And I think you're very well suited for this underground thing too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So when there's a cave in, I can stay alive.
There you go.
Sure.
Slumber till the next century.
I'll tell you, exactly. like a Golem in a Terry Pratchett novel.
Love it. All right. Well, when we had last left our heroes, magics were expended and resources depleted. What will you do? Will you press on? Will you return to the palisade? Will you do something else?
Well, Yukufa still has a decent number of spells and things he can cast. He can also, if we want, I can animate one of the armored guys' corpses and control it.
Always fun and creepy.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing that Gideon's not there.
And okay, I have a question. Am I exhausted too, even though I wasn't there, or just
No,
because?
no. It was from the characters were present in last session. Yeah.
Well, it's fine, but I would have no problem if you said, "Well, yeah, you were out on the periphery and you had to do some fighting too."
No.
That's cool.
I
Okay,
just
well, in
wanted
that case,
I just wanted to recap on that because I think there was some big spell slinging going on last session from the
Oh, yeah.
casters
Yes,
like
there was.
Morgan and Gideon.
I didn't
were.
dump everything I had, but I did dump one of my big AoEs. But that was Morgan. So
I ask because I have one Fire Blast spell, which is pretty awesome. Well, awesome for me.
Right. This was, I think, one of your recent upgrades for Ichabod, wasn't it?
I believe so. Okay.
yeah, so basically Yukufa is a battle mage who can control the undead.
So you're a battle necromancer.
That's exactly what I am.
It's a Battlemancer.
Yep, there it is, Battlemancer. And I can teleport too.
Yeah. So I have a tiny bit of magic, but I'm a what is it? A spellbinder, which is honestly just a fighter with a pretty good magical opportunity. I can make a weapon. Yeah, I guess a battle mage.
I think all three of us are like mainly melee fighters with like augmented magic.
I think you are correct.
Fun. So, do we want to fall back to the miners' camp and make rest, or do we want to keep pressing forward?
Let me check something.
Well, again, I'm fine, so I have no problem pressing forward. But if you guys need to recoup, that's no problem either.
I mean, let's see. I burned one of my mighty attacks and one of my augmented attacks, but I still have 4 more, so I'm good
nice.
for now.
That's nice.
Well, considering most of my attacks need to be augmented with spells to hit.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can swing without magic. It's just less effective because I'm wielding a massive weapon.
A scythe.
Yep.
Woe be to the wheat we run into.
Yeah. That's what the undead found out.
I recall that. That and a couple blasts of magic didn't hurt either. I was impressive.
They're impressive from all sides.
Well, while you're considering your next course of action, what shall we do for a marching order? It's wide enough here for you to go 3 abreast, should you choose to, though you could certainly array yourselves in any way you like. And this is just sort of a general marching order, so, you know, I know who gets eaten from behind or whatnot.
Of course.
Oh, good.
I have no issue with going 3 abreast if we want.
Excellent.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and cast. Should I go ahead and cast Spellbound Weapon or?
Sure. And what does that spellbinding do when you cast? Doesn't enchant it with fire?
Yeah, weapon gains a boon, can be teleported to caster's hand if within 1 mile, can repair all damage to target as long as 1 fragment remains. Meaning, if the weapon's shattered, I can bring it back.
From just a fragment itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it lasts for 4 hours.
And is it on fire now?
Well, it doesn't say, but I like to think that since I am a fire mage using control, flame, and fire blast, that the visual personification of my spellbound weapon is flame.
Okay.
But it just says you gain a boon, so I assume the flame is just representing that.
What's the title of the spell?
Spellbound Weapon.
Spellbound Weapon. Well, I ask because it sounds to me as if it's a light emitting weapon now.
Right.
And
that was the other thought
maybe not as efficient as a torch, but it still emits light. You know, the smoldering magic and flame. So
Yeah,
I'd
it's
say
kind
it
of
emits light of,
lightsaber-like.
yeah, it emits light
Yeah.
of at least 12 feet, let's say 10 feet, 10 feet.
That
So
sounds
you
good to me.
could I know that Yukufa was carrying, Yukufa and 808 were both light bearers.
Yeah,
last
we each had
session.
torches. Yeah.
You can rely on Ichabod's light if you wish. You don't see much further with torches than you would with relying on this enchanted weapon.
Especially because Yakufa is using a two-handed weapon.
Yeah, so the torch basically gets
Correct.
put down whenever. Yeah, so I mean, at this point, Yakufa's torch is out anyway, because he was fighting with his weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can stick with Ichabod's sword for now.
Okay.
Yakufa will also kneel down before one of the undead, like armored guys who he re-killed, and cast animate corpse on it.
Well, this is interesting. It's not. There was no life in this thing before it died. Before it died again. Before you struck it down. There's no life force for you to rekindle.
It has to be
whatever
a
magic
freshly
you might.
killed. Interesting.
Okay.
Though you could try the spell if you like.
What about the?
I'm just
to-
I'm just providing you with a risk.
I like that. It's nice flavor.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if I tried to animate it, I'd almost be trying to call back its soul from hell or wherever it was, if it ever had one to begin with.
Right.
Which is
Sorry, and I think 808 had something.
I was just going to say, what about the two armored guys? Were they equally not alive?
those were the guys who I was trying to res.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was just the general zombie legs.
I didn't
Those are
try the
mostly
regular.
buried. Those are mostly buried in a pile of rubble and rock
Yeah.
from the cave-in.
And they weren't really great corpses to begin with.
Yeah. Okay.
But
if one of us dies,
but true, they do have. They were closer to their deaths, and you may be more successful in animating one of these should you wish to.
that's fair. I think I will hold for now.
Okay.
I mean, he's already fairly insane, but I don't need him getting even more insane yet.
in the membrane.
Exactly.
What is your
Insane
current
brain.
insanity? What is your current corruption?
My current insanity is 5, and my corruption is 2. And all
That's
that
a lot of
Oh, no.
insanity.
Okay, the reason he has 5 insanity is because his quirk that he rolled up was he died and returned to life. So he starts with 1d6 insanity.
Well,
Which
yeah, I can see that. He's also insane because he summons dead people. That would make you crazy.
Well, that's all a byproduct of him coming back from them. Basically, he considers the reason he came back is because for the death of the old gods intentionally brought him back. That's what he thinks.
There we go.
Right. Right.
Doesn't make him any less insane.
Just saying, all gods are one god. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Blood for the blood god.
No, that is not what I am saying.
Wait, what? Blood for the blood god?
No! Do not listen to Mr. I could have ruled the world with my rune sword.
He still is.
In his mind.
Yeah.
His little ape mind.
It's gosh, what's that? It's Blue Oyster Cult, that Black Blade song.
Yep.
That should be your theme song, Mills.
Elric and
Yeah, so good. All right, what course of action have you gentlemen settled upon?
I think we're going
808 is not damaged and doesn't really have. He casts one spell, but he doesn't have much spells to begin with, so he's fine to move ahead.
Yep, I'm good.
All right. However, Morgan and Gideon have decided to head back.
Yes.
They're going back to this village to search for, or not village, camp to search for more clues.
Palisade.
They're going back to. They're going back to make sure that the Teamsters don't take off of the wagons.
Oh, right.
And to protect the Teamsters in case whatever it was that attacked the Palisade comes back.
Okay.
Right.
There you go.
So
There's
you're
some good-
standing at a junction. You can go. You can ascend the. You can ascend the mine shaft, retracing your steps. You can descend the mine shaft deeper into this complex, or you could transport using the elevator in some fashion, way, shape, or form.
Oh. I'm sure the elevator is perfectly safe.
Totally. Well, let me put it this way.
It's
It
noisy.
came down safely.
Yeah, it's noisy.
Filled with a gelatinous cube. Wait, that's D&D. I got no problem with the elevator then. Do we know where we're
Well,
going?
no,
That's my other question. Do we know
So
where
The
we're going?
issue with
You're-
the elevator.
You're at the bottom of the elevator shaft, so you would be going up.
Oh, we don't want to do that.
Well, the issue with the elevator, though, is somebody has to stay on the ground to winch it up.
Oh. Then we'll use a summoned corpse for that later.
I mean, technically speaking, I could try and animate one of the regular zombie guys and have him try and do it. Technically, yes, that is actually something I could try.
Yeah, we'll worry about that later. I think I'm sure we'll have to kill somebody before that. Hopefully, it won't be one of us.
I say, is it bad to say? I hope so.
As long as it's not us. So my question is, do we know where we're going? Because we're looking for the missing ore, correct?
Correct.
And we are not looking for the missing people who went to get the ore and bring it back. We assume they're dead.
You have not found any signs of the wagon train that set out ahead of you to make these to return these metals.
Oh, actually, while I'm thinking about it, Yakufa will look
You
at
have
the.
found a few. Sorry, you have found a few barrels of ore in the palisade itself, which you had loaded onto one of the wagons and tried to encourage the Teamsters to return it to crossings immediately. So they weren't too keen on that, going alone.
They have each other.
Well, that's still alone in their minds. I mean, they came with heroes after all.
That's right. They're not battle mages.
Right.
While I'm thinking about it, Yakufa will take a look at large portions of the zombified people, looking to see if any for clues if these guys were some of the miners who worked here or anything like that.
Maybe trying to see how long they'd been dead. I think we asked that before.
Might
Sure.
have.
Can't remember now.
Make a I'm going to have you make a challenge. I'm not sure which one I'm going to have you do.
Okay.
And the problem is a lot of them are buried under that rubble.
Yep.
Let's see. Still looking for what.
Why don't you just have him roll and see how good or bad, and then you can decide kind of.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea too, but I'm still sort of mulling the targets over and the number of banes and whatnot.
Oh, I see. Okay, I understand.
Those are handouts. Where are the goddamn characters?
What are you painting, Peter?
I'm happily back to some Wolfsong figures. I have 2 skeletons to finish up. It's the shields that are taking me forever because I'm trying to do historical Greek shields. And Vanguard objective markers, which are just terrain crate, let's be honest.
I have a bunch of those. I got.
Have you seen some of the terrain crate stuff that Peter's painted, Ethan, on the DOTD?
Yeah, I have. It's
Yeah.
looking really good.
All right, it's an intellect with 2 banes, please. Those aren't the derived ones.
These aren't the banes you're looking for.
These are not the banes you're looking for.
Oh, nicely rolled.
I'm
Nicely
dead or my
rolled.
specialty.
The dead speak to me.
Well, I mean, I do let something speak through me, and I think it's the god of the dead, so probably.
You're hoping.
It's something.
Something whispers from the great beyond. Yeah. So you actually there are a few of those corpses that aren't fully buried, and or the ones that were, you were able to kind of extract, and there are what clearly look to be guild members, a guild member, but also a minor. And you can tell you tell the difference between them largely by their dress, and largely by the stature of the miners, who are
Buff.
miner who is heavily muscled, with heavier clothing than the guildsmen.
I'm going to suggest that before we leave this place, if possible, we try and bring at least the guild member's body back.
I agree, or at least give him a decent burial above. But I agree, because we have to be careful of not letting more undead wander around.
Okay.
Oh, and then because 808's here, Yukufa will pull out from his pack a tiny inert mechanical owl and give it to 808.
An inert mechanical owl. Was one of your starting items or something?
Yeah, it's one of my interesting things.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Maybe fix one day for me.
Okay.
Okay. I'll probably just take it apart for parts in my magic sack, but that's okay.
Hey, that's fine.
I had nothing to do. I had nothing I could use it for. So, thought the clockwork might be interested.
It can join my squirrel.
There you go.
Oh, that's right. You have a squirrel that lives inside your carapace. Carapace?
Carapace, yeah.
Exoskeleton? Yeah.
Named Nibblers? What's his name?
I don't think I ever named it.
I just
Squirrel.
Yeah, I said no, he's Nibblers.
Nibblers. Not the red wire, the blue wire.
Okay.
It runs around in a wheel all night. Would you shut that thing up in there?
Yeah, just like kind of around his abdomen, right? Like a big giant wheel on its side.
So, shall we go down?
Yes.
The choice is yours. You may move the token. I will reveal things as appropriate.
Yes, please do.
Dun dun dun. Downward we go.
Polygonus revealus. I have to be on the right laris.
Yeah, the U.S. at the end makes everything Latin. That's what I like. It's a little known fact.
Yeah.
The passageway continues down, but you've reached another upwardly driven shaft. But this one, instead of an elevator, has a like a wooden ladder, kind of hammered into the big planks, sort of driven into the face of the cavern wall, sort of as pictured.
Which map are we on? There's a little one here to the left.
Sorry, we're on this one.
The Palisades to the one left. We're in this blood-stained hallway.
Which is more blood-stained now.
That was
the elevator going up.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so this is a side view I'm looking at.
Exactly. Pardon me. There was
the one
some
down,
debate about that last week too.
Yeah, the one down on the left corner is top down, but this one is side view.
I get it now. Thank you. I say we could see where that ladder goes.
Yeah. Should we inspect it for termite damage?
Yes.
It doesn't look old or rotted or anything like that. It's but it does. and it looks well traveled,
Okay.
well used. The boards are not splintered, broken, and they look well anchored. Whether it's with some sort of resin, some sort of pinions, hard to say. Unless you'd like to spend some time figuring that out.
I think we'd like to go up it.
As I have no problem with going up.
All right.
Where the stairs go? They go up.
Go up. Dynamic lighting.
I would suggest we probably have Ichabod go first since he has light.
Okay, so let's see. Ichabod 808 Yukufa. Does that work for you guys?
Yes.
Works for me.
It's a long. Oops, it's a long shaft. It's a long. Yeah.
Long vertical shaft.
Long vertical shaft. And you can see two branching tunnels.
Well, I'd like to take a peek in here because I'm in front.
Okay,
Go for
it.
So when I get eaten, I can only blame myself.
Damn it.
Like when I died in Dave's game at the ThunderCon. It's my own fault.
It's your own damn fault.
He doesn't say I rolled. I rolled a 1, and he looks at the his papers. And goes, I love you, Peter. But you're dead. Yeah, he didn't even have to finish it. I said, I love you too, Dave.
So that western passage leads off towards that elevator shaft. All of these, and there's some mining implements around and some diggings. The vertical crossbars that you see on the map here are support beams.
Okay.
Excellent.
And looking down this passageway to the east, another diggings.
Oh, okay.
Which proceeds beyond your
Line of sight.
light.
Okay. Do we want to continue down this path or keep going up?
Sure. Continuing down the path till you find a steep drop off.
Okay. And we're like there.
Into the darkness.
Now, we still don't actually know who these Viking undead are, who's behind these guys or anything, right?
No.
No, we
Well,
don't.
sorry. I shouldn't answer for you, but you haven't discovered anything about those Viking undead guys.
Yes, we have no idea who's behind this overall.
Right.
Why don't you be some of the people who sent us? We're going to get screwed.
Well, I would say that except for the fact that the people who tend to send people before us. So
That's true.
I mean, they may be responsible for what's killing everything.
Should we not go down that yet?
I would be hesitant to, if only because I don't see a good spot to secure a rope,
All right, there's this thing right here.
which may or may not be designed to be pulled laterally.
Yoink! Yeah, I've seen that movie.
Yeah. Having been in mine shafts, generally don't want to pull on the.
They are. I mean, there are lots of support beams and things like that. Those are just kind of representative of the space that you're traveling.
Okay.
So we could the support beams that are on the map. There certainly are support beams and such that are close. Might be closer to this drop off.
Okay.
And they are well established.
Okay.
They're not. This is not a rickety sort of Tinseltown kind of affair.
Excellent.
Does someone actually put money into this thing?
Right, and it's been worked for. It's been worked for some time.
Yeah, it's not abandoned.
Correct.
Plus, I mean, one would have to imagine that the only way shaft that goes straight down gets built is if someone has a rope of some kind attached to something.
Or they came up.
That's a fair point.
I mean, they start at the top. I mean, and you just start digging down. I'm happy to tie ropes off and go further if you want to do that, or we can go up the ladder.
I think we go up the ladder. I don't think we need to commit ourselves to hell yet.
I have a feeling we're going to be going further down soon anyway. But yeah, let's go up the ladder just to see if we can find someone nice who will give us presents and not try to kill us.
That'd be cool.
Up the long ladder and down the short rope.
We mustn't go of hunting for fear of little men.
Let's see here.
What's it? Up the stony mountain and down the wooded glen. That's it, isn't it? We dare not go a hunting for fear of little men.
What's it from?
Trying to remember.
I say I've heard it before.
The shaft continues to ascend above you, and there's another branching
But yeah,
tunnel to the east.
We're checking out that branching tunnel.
Okay. And it runs before you for let's see, 10. Each your token occupies about 10 feet, let's say.
Okay.
In terms of scale of the place, and the polygonists reveal this. Does so reveal.
Whoa!
That's some polygonus.
I say polygon. I say poly.
Be gone.
Be gone.
Darkness be gone.
Interesting. I have a feeling we're gonna. That's what I was curious about. And it looks like another elevator.
It is another. It is another elevator shaft. Though they're just the cablings. The car is
Somewhere else.
Not well. Let's see. The car is not on your level.
We didn't think it would be.
Would it be hard to cross? Is it like there's no way, or you have to leap, or can we just step around?
It's at least 10 feet across.
So it fills all that. There's not like a walk space around it.
No, there's not like a bridge or a transit across the shaft.
Well, let me see. Hang on. If we want to get across, I have teleportation magic.
Right. I don't think it's that important yet. I'm just curious. You know, if it's an easy walk, I say we do it. Otherwise, how far did we come down to get here? I don't want to end up climbing the ladder and just going all the way back. We're not that far from the surface right now.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at your map and we could sort of guesstimate it.
But the ladder probably exits from where we are. But
yeah, and I think the challenge is that you don't really. It's an underground space, right? And it's not easy to
know where we are.
Yeah, to gauge distances and things like that, because the tunnels aren't straight. You know, they're all jaggedy.
Sure.
And it's dark.
And the surface isn't completely flat either.
It is not correct. You know, it's like sort of this elevating hill, right? Like the base of a hill, sort of going up and up. And
I mean, yeah. From the bottom of the ladder to where we are now is about 100 feet. If our token is about 10 feet.
Right.
Well, I'd like to go a little further up the ladder and see where it goes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Send the ladder.
And I also think that then we should go to the bottom of it and once we exhaust that, unless we find an elevator at the top, and then check things out from the bottom, there is an exit.
So ascending the ladder takes you up to like sort of a covered, it's like a kind of a covered workspace, right? There's tools here. There are, you know, like some tables and benches and things like that. It's like sort of looks like a open air cantina almost. And looking down the hill, you can see more of what you couldn't see as you were climbing the hill. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you had climbed the hill, you had sort of arrived at this point and been looking up and said, "No, we'll just descend the mine shaft." But now, from your new vantage point, you can, looking back down the hill, you can see these workings. And there's the elevator shaft, though the elevator's not in the picture in the drawing. It's deep within the mine itself. And looking to what is east on this map, you can see more things.
What do you see? Things.
We see
Wondrous things. Sorry, it's what Howard Carter said when he first looked into Tutankhamun's tomb. Then they said, "What do you see?" And he said, "Things. Wondrous things."
And you can see another
elevator.
Another elevator, though the car is not at the surface as it is in the drawing.
Is there an exit from the building we're in? Could we get out on the surface if we wanted to?
That's a good question.
Yes, absolutely. It's like there are no walls to this covered lean-to area. It's sort of like maybe to keep the water out of the mine shaft itself, and keep the sun off. Maybe if the workers, as they're sort of resting in this space.
Can we see if there's
sorry, go ahead. What was that, 808? Winch control here on the surface? Yes, there is.
At the other one, at the to the east.
Looks like there's some winch control up there.
So we could go up that way and winch the car up, and then I would assume that the car itself has a control that can winch it down, and that way we can descend in a more safe manner.
Sure.
Suggestion.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me reveal to you also what more you can see looking.
Actually, what I want to do is step.
Yeah, I would say step to the right. Yeah.
Try to see past that overhang there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give you a top-down view now as well about where you are to give you some context, because these shafts aren't they're about 30 feet, anywhere from 10 to 30 feet wide, depending on which ones. The deeper interior ones are clearly narrower, but the main mine shaft that you came through was quite broad, with the track to draw out the ore. And looking back downhill, you can see a bit more of the landscape opening up before you. If I could have the right tool, I will do the right thing. And you can see here the elevations.
What am I seeing?
So this is your current position right now, about here.
Oh, you're looking at the little map now?
Oh, I am, and you're not, oh, are you seeing the little map? Yes, you do.
I just moved to it.
Okay, I was trying to shift click you there. You're about here. And each of these little points are things that you've seen. This is the main mine shaft entrance.
Wait, this is?
This is.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, Aaron, isn't coming through.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
seeing
I'm
anything.
sorry. I'm not clicking on the right layer. I was clicking on the lighting layer.
There you go. There you go.
Now I see that.
This was the mine entrance.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like to be the elevator.
Mm.
This looks like to be where you are now. You can make out like other structures, and this is the second elevator here, kind of at the peak of what you can see based on the sharply increasing slope. But you can see off to the east and west of you as well. So you could walk around these open shafts or open areas, you know, these working areas. The side view is just that, a side view more of the underground rather than the above ground. Yeah.
I would like to come to the edge here so I can see, because this is clearly something sculpted right there, and I just want to know what it's attached to.
Sure. So you can check these areas. Let me do that for you. I need to know the hotkey for layer shifting and polygon revealers. There you go. Does this help? So there's another shaft that descends into the darkness. Though this one is just sort of like dug straight down. There's no ladders. There's no. There doesn't appear to be an easy way down. And then the second, there's a second digging, which just falls off into the darkness, and it's similar. It doesn't have any ladders or elevators or things like that. Does it make sense?
Yes, so it doesn't look recently worked.
No, they do. They just looks like maybe they were worked in different ways. Maybe they were worked with machines or magic.
Okay.
But you don't see any way that you could easily descend them, is what I mean to say.
Though we could use our ropes.
You could use your ropes, yes.
It could also just be ventilation shafts.
Could.
That's true.
Good.
Let's see how this is revealing for you guys. Yeah, okay, cool.
So, do we want to traverse our way over these holes?
You could go around them. You don't have
you're right.
to go over them, right? Because you're on a globe, you're on a sphere.
No, the world is flat and
It's a side-scrolling RPG.
it's exactly what it is.
So yeah, I'd like to go around them and see if we can peek in them just a little as we go around. Make sure there's not like, a giant worm waiting in there. Or...
Right, like get down and crawl over to the edge and just peek over, and then.
Or a pile of the ore we're looking for. What is the specific metal that was stolen or we need?
Unobtainium.
Yeah, it's iron. This is an iron mine, and to make steel.
Very good.
High grade iron, I guess, makes high grade steel. I don't know anything about that. I'm just making it up.
That's fine. Yeah, the army needs the metal to make weapons and armor.
It's being sold to them as high grade iron.
That's fine. But we're basically looking for ingots because it's already been dug out and partially processed. Are we looking for piles of rocks?
The miners, when they extract it here from from the mine. They do process it in some way, but they send it into Crossings to be smelted and refined into its. So it's like raw material right now. And you have seen some of it like stored in barrels within the Palisade camp,
Right.
and it was about a wagon's load, and that's what you put onto the one of those wagons. And you had brought with you 6 wagons, I believe, and found one additional one without a team, though, without animals.
Right.
Hang on, I'll be right back with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking for ore. Maybe get paid. That was never negotiated in our agreement that we were going to get paid.
We never get paid.
Yeah.
It's the end of the world. We're all just trying to survive.
Yeah, but money? Or, you know, better armor, weapons, potions.
Yeah, money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a better armor class.
And it can buy you life in the form of armor class and potions and magic. I'm going to be back myself.
Hey, look, it's 8:08.
I'm back with you. Where's 808?
The time is 8:08.
Oh, nice. That is funny.
I realize that's not his name.
I know we shortened 8:0008.
1 through 5.
Yes.
That's not my
Boob.
name.
Boob for short.
Bob,
Okay.
what?
What did you guys decide you wanted to do? Did you want to kind of ascend the hill some more? Or did you want to try heading down one of these shafts?
I think we're going to ascend the hill, but as we go up, we're just going to, you know, peek a little bit more down the shafts.
Okay, you can't really. Your light only extends so far.
Sure.
Yeah.
Although this first one that you're at is relatively straight, and as you can like pretty much peer down into it quite successfully.
Okay.
Let's see. And this is largely because it's straight, and it just kind of runs, you know, very straight into the deep into the earth. But there's still darkness, you know, where the light, the sun won't quite penetrate the angle of the sun. You know, maybe at high noon you could see.
All right. Up we go.
And this one you can see similarly. God damn it. Wrong tool. I got green lines all over my map. Unacceptable.
What are you painting, Nils?
I'm basing 15 millimeter Belgians. I'm finishing my hover bots, and then I was going to move on to my Grenadier elves.
Interesting. And Ethan's studying.
No, actually.
Oh, good.
No. I mean, when you pull, 2 all-nighters, you end up catching up on most of what you were behind on.
That's good. Good.
You don't feel great, but you're caught up.
And I know that Aaron's not painting.
I'm trying to paint with light right now.
That's it.
Paint with words.
Did you want to climb to the paint with polygon or reveal us? Do you want to climb to the elevator shaft there?
I think we would.
Okay.
Yep.
If you move your token, then I will do more of the lighting bits.
What?
I was going to go here where the controls are.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Look, there's another one.
There's too many.
Let's see. There's another one. And it too is not in the. It too is not in. Sorry.
It is not currently at our level.
It is not currently at the surface. The car for the elevator. The elevator
Right.
car. The elevator platform.
Can we use the controls to bring it back?
Absolutely. There are controls here at the surface.
There we go.
Do you want to draw this one up where you are?
I would. Anybody with me on this?
Yep.
Yeah.
They are noisy, and it takes time. Has anybody noticed that? Oh.
No, I haven't.
So I've been using Chrome for my browser because I thought it integrated well with Roll20. But now when I look at the settings for 3D Dice, it says, sorry, your browser doesn't support WebGL necessary for showing 3D graphics. See this site for more info. But so I guess it must be something to do with how Roll20 updated their platform recently.
I don't have the issue, and I use Chrome.
Maybe I need a Chrome update. I'll do that later. Not now. So you have 3D Dice, yeah, Ethan?
I do.
Okay. Well, I don't see them on my side.
Yours are showing up, Aaron.
Yeah, for us, they're showing up.
They're ticked in mine, but they're grayed out like in my configuration in my settings.
Well, they've been showing up when you roll them.
Okay.
I see. There's a 3. There's a D6 with a 3 on it in the screen right now.
Cool. Well, how about this? That.
I see nothing. Well, there's a 7 on a D20.
Yep.
No. Try to do more of those. I'll do this.
Now you rolled a 3. Keep those rolls for
And I'll do
when you're in
this.
combat. Oh no, that rolls. You don't need a 19.
It's overrated.
That's it. We'll hold on to that for you.
Hang on, I just need to check some notes. Okay. All right. Let me just quickly make a couple of notes here, guys, and then I will be back with you.
Rolling for initiative.
Rolling for initiative. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to take these notes. This will do.
So I had to quickly fix the toilet before I joined tonight. And as I was walking downstairs, I noticed I have an extra part in my pocket. I'm not sure
Oh,
what it was to. So hopefully something doesn't fall off.
do you want to show me the part? I could probably tell you what it is.
No, I know exactly what it is. I just
Oh.
didn't think I had I shouldn't have an extra one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just the.
Aaron lived with much exposed plumbing in his life. And that's not a euphemism.
That's the god awful truth.
It's the literal truth. Yeah. My dad did it once in a while. Your dad, it was a lifestyle.
I saw him today, actually.
How's Rodney?
It's good. It's good.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
He's looking, gosh, well, you know, he's showing his age, I noticed.
Well, he is old.
I don't, I see him every few weeks, not regular. So it's, yeah.
I saw my mom at my birthday. It was showing.
He is 77 because he's 30 years older than I am.
So he's actually the same age as my parents.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I think he lived a very different lifestyle than your parents.
To say the least. My father was a first lieutenant stationed on the East German, West German border.
My dad tells this story, a drinking story about being in his Volkswagen in Texas, his Volkswagen Bug in Texas, and not having a bottle opener to open whatever bottle he was trying to open. So he shot it off. He shot the top off with his .22 pistol into the floorboards of the Volkswagen. Yeah, good times.
Well, your dad did hang out with Ken Kesey, so
yeah, I do love that story.
Who?
Really, Nils?
Ken Kesey wrote "One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest," and he was the leader of the Merry Pranksters, who went all over the United States.
Electric Kool-Aid acid test.
Kind of the seminal,
kind of the hippie mouthpiece, right?
It really was the hippie Bible in a lot of ways.
Fringe culture.
It was. And these people hung out with Timothy Leary and went all over the country making batches of LSD and sharing it with everyone and doing goofy things in public. And one of them was a character named Zonker, who Gary Trudeau stole basically and used as a character who is probably the most popular character in Doonesbury ever. Who is
Max's dad.
Max's dad, yeah.
And my dad's best friend.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, yeah.
Yeah. That's a really interesting connection.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
And my dad was directing bombers into targets into East Germany and the Soviet Union.
He was the watcher on the walls.
That's it, he was.
No long-haired hippie bullshit here. God, tell you what.
Actually, my parents were. My father believed that he was prepared for war in order to prevent the next war, and he was all about listening to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. My father was.
Nice.
Apparently, the Air Force has a history of a lot of Democrats, a lot of liberals.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no one as interesting as Ken Kesey that I know of in our background.
Okay, so you guys bring up the.
Elevator carriage.
Mm-hmm.
Car. Excuse me, elevator car.
It comes up and you start hearing some music.
Dun 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 dun.
Stop making Aaron laugh.
Okay, and it arrives very similar to the first that you had experimented with. It's an open platform with the short kind of. It's a broad open platform. It's essentially as big as the shaft is, 10 feet by 10 feet. And
just talk about shaft.
There are no controls inside the car itself, though there's the winch controls on the surface here.
Poop.
And you can see now that you're looking at the top of the shaft, there's like a series of bells, like cords, which run up to the top of the controls here, for signaling the operator. You would assume at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back to the ladder. Poop.
Yeah, which probably means that none of them are going to have actual controls in the car themselves.
And then you can see to your east another elevator shaft. Again, the shaft is not present on your level, or we don't know that actually. Let me find out what level it's present on. It's not present on your level.
All right, call me crazy. I say,
and then you can see the apex of the peak here running at the. God damn it!
Spot,
here,
my friend.
But you can't quite see over the apex of the peak. Apex of the hill, apex of the mount, and it's late now. You sort of started in the morning through this effort and exploration. It's sort of late afternoon.
So it sounded like we probably don't want to continue much longer.
So I say we attach a rope right here. And just do a quick little survey and see what's down below here.
Sure.
Yeah, make a descent.
A little foray.
Right, sure. Yeah, you guys can make that descent. Who set the rope?
I think it's going to be. Let's see,
sailors.
And one that we call Thally, and one that we call Thally. Oh, we're gonna. I'll do it.
Okay.
My prospector background, I'm good at. It's a test shaft.
Right. That's exactly what it is. Go ahead and make an intellect challenge with a boon.
Intellect with a boon. Sorry, because 12.
All right. Yeah. So you easily figure out what's the right way to make the tie off and the descent into this test shaft. And it only, from your elevated position up here on the slope, it's like 30 feet, but 20 feet from here. So it's not a difficult climb.
Yeah, we'll do the shorter side. The shorter side because it's shorter to get out.
Yeah, easier, less effort.
When we have to run screaming.
Well, it's just 10 more feet. You don't have to pull your armored body out, but using just your upper body strength.
Bleeding body.
Well, I'm going with wishful thinking.
Let's be careful. It descends again, this time about 15 feet. And this is pretty rough cut stuff. It's not well worked the way the other ones are. There are far fewer supports. It looks a little dangerous, crumbly.
It would be
Like,
hard to have hidden.
You wouldn't want to spend any time working in here, Ichabod.
Yeah. Well, my other thought is you also wouldn't want to be storing anything like iron or anything important in here either.
Not to mention there's no way of getting it out.
Right. Well, I'm just trying to figure out where they might have hidden something or where somebody might be squirreling stuff away. I say we go back out and rope down the other test one.
Sure. By the time you finish with this, it's coming on supper time.
All right.
The sun's waning in the hills. Do you want to make this descent?
I say we go back to camp. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, camp is probably good.
Okay. Back at camp, Morgan and Gideon are there kind of trying to organize miners or the guildsmen in some sort of fashion, rustling up some food. There's lots of foodstuffs here within the camp, and that's not a problem. In fact, all the guildsmen are really sort of enjoying themselves in sort of a macabre kind of way.
As soon as we get back, I'm going to check and see if 8008 135 needs to be wound.
He does, he needs his regular winding.
I know he does. I'm just checking if now's the time he needs one.
Oh, sure, he could be wound.
Because we established earlier that Ichabod tends to pay attention to the clockwork and make sure that...
Oh, he's up and running, that's operational.
Right.
Sure.
Right, and he sees him as a person, not as an object.
Right, which is far different than society really treats him normally.
Sure. But Ichabod's got that ghost in the machine mentality. There's something in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yakufa will, as we're winding down and eating supper, he will reach into his bag and pull out a deck of fortune tellers cards.
Okay.
And go up to the miners and ask if any of them want their fortunes read.
Make a challenge with 2 Banes. Personality, or I think there's a personality skill.
The guy wears the skull face mask. Do you want me to read your fortune?
I meant to say I took off the helmet, but
just going with what I heard last time.
They know who I am.
Yeah, they're like
they know
they don't want anything. They don't want anything to do with you. Call you the Reaper of the Night.
That's it. Tell you what.
Hey, I'll take it. When they decline my offer, I will turn and laugh maniacally and walk off.
Pout in the corner.
Now you're making me laugh. I think this wizard's desktop should be painted purple. If I were a wizard, I'd want purple felt. If I were a wizard, I'd
What's
have
your will,
felt.
Yakufa?
10.
10? When your insanity reaches your will, we'll have a conversation.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Okay. Be right back with you. Sorry. I'm going to make a cup of tea if this is a good time for you guys to do the same if you like.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm refilling my iced tea, but I'm taking the computer with me. So Nils, how's Grace doing? Oh, Nils went to get something to drink. Uh-oh. The internet's about to go dark in Nils's house.
I'm back.
I'm back.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay, great. So you're back at the camp, settling in for the evening. As supper time sort of finishes off, all of the heroes, the three heroes, please make a perception challenge. Flat, no boons, no banes. Just let me know. anyone.
Oh, it'd be nice to have
passes.
Opie here who doesn't get surprised, but he's not.
17.
Nice.
Perception.
Is it perception or?
There it is.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, I don't know the character sheets.
No,
well
it's right
enough.
next to it. Yeah, I just have to remember where it is. That's all.
Yeah.
You said it with no boons or banes.
No boons, no veins. Yeah, just straight.
Aha, 19.
No, I just missed 9.
Okay. It's 808 first, with his heightened senses, that he first becomes aware of a sound. And you hear it too, Yukufa, but only after the sun is fully set and darkness begins to envelop the camp. The lanterns are lit, the campfires are blazing. There's some reveling in the free alcohol that's been clearly abandoned by their former occupants.
Yeah,
Mostly by
I'm
the
not
guild,
very-
mostly by the guildsmen. And you hear this. Gideon hears 808 hears it first. This faint whining.
Yeah.
And a bell.
What's
No.
that?
It's
And a
the
bell.
It's the elevators.
No, that
The
was
elevators go.
no. The elevators. Well, the elevators didn't make any sound like that.
Oh, okay.
And
It
then
wasn't the winch. It's not a winch sound.
It's not a grinding sound. It's more like a high-pitched whine, like a ee, but even fainter than that. And Yukufa, you start to hear it too. Maybe because it gets a little bit louder. It's louder to Gideon now. Fuck, 808. And then even you, Opie, can hear it, but only, kind of faintly. While 808's heard it rise in volume over the last hour. And Yukufa's become aware of it and become aware of its kind of increasing volume.
You have a sense of where it's coming from?
Up the hill.
Hmm.
It's pervasive. It's everywhere. That's not like a source, but because of your heightened senses, I think you clearly can tell that it's coming from up the hill somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I'll watch up that way for a while and see if I see any movement or lights or.
Sure. You can see in the dark, right?
Sure.
Yes, he can. No, we've determined this before. It's why you keep watch. You also don't need sleep.
Right. Okay.
I'm not cheating. I remember this. It's one of the reasons I keep him. It's one of the reasons I keep him wound. He keeps us safe. I keep him safe.
So you didn't see anything happening up the hill for the next hour, and now actually everybody in the camp is aware of this, and they're like, there's lots of conversation, like, what is that noise? And it's becoming very audible, almost like conversationally audible. This high-pitched whining, this high-pitched buzzing, this high-pitched humming. You can't quite figure it out. It's not like anything you've heard before. Or maybe it is. I don't know. You tell me. It's an uncommon sound.
Certainly nothing that my prospector background would have found normal for a mining area.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not the whining of a winch, the grinding of a tools, or anything like that. It's been kind of steadily increasing in its volume. And as one of the guildsmen, sort of a head teamster leader, approaches the heroes, a great bellowing of a croak, a great bellowing croak, goes out as the moon is bright in the night sky. And the whining sort of subsides, and then it picks up again.
Well, shall we go investigate?
Hell no. You want to go out there?
Not really.
And now there's and it's just the croaking of one very loud frog.
Yeah, the
Frog
size
noise.
of a Volkswagen. Yeah, a frogeth.
And the sound is coming from up.
No, the
Still?
sound's coming from out over the marshy lake.
Ooh, we're caught between the buzzing and the frogeth.
And we know there's there's rumors of a monster down in the marsh swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should move camp up into the tree line.
I was gonna say, maybe we just back away.
Well, we're in the Palisade, right?
You are.
Okay, so
It worked out well for the last group.
well, they're probably lost somewhere in the mine. Not
We hope.
well. Okay, if he ate the last group, then
Has anybody taken a sense about how big? I know I had given you like scale size of yards, right? 300 by 300 yards would be this camp. But we haven't talked about what kind of capacity of people that might support, or how many bunkhouses there are, or that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there was some investigations that were made of the Palisade earlier. So I'll give you a sense that I think we did probably 80 to 100 souls would have occupied this camp at any one given time.
And none of them are here now.
None of them are here.
Yeah.
well, that just means the monster's not hungry.
Well, the other question is, but didn't you say it seemed... Oh, great. My question, I recall, or maybe it's my imagination, it was almost like some people just disappeared in the middle of a meals, or just
That's true.
Everything
right.
was normal, and then boom, something happened, very Mary Celeste, and now everybody's gone.
Right. And you did find like a great churning outside the walls of the Palisade. You also found, but you weren't able to determine what that churning was, though you found similar such churning down in the tunnels, and it looked as almost like a big stake had been driven into the ground and then yanked out, and driven into the ground, yanked out.
Okay, but nothing in the Palisades like that.
No, nothing inside the Palisades like that. But the grounds inside the Palisade is more like hard packed, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Cobblestone in some areas.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go on alert because I don't want us to be caught in the middle of eating our food or whatever. I think something's coming for us.
Okay.
Or we're about to get caught in the middle.
I suggest we all condense into one building.
Okay. Like one bunkhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that they can only come at us from a smaller area.
Okay. And you just
Whatever
want
they
to
are.
you just want to hole up in the bunkhouse over the night. You don't want to try to put any watches on the walls or anything. Okay.
Well, I don't think 8008 wants to be out there alone.
I don't think we have enough people to warrant trying to cover anywhere near this size of area.
That's true. You're
especially not when 80 to 100 people couldn't hold it.
Okay.
And I don't think 8008 wants to be out there by himself.
Though if he stood still, I don't think he'd get noticed.
So, but is the frog noise coming from the lake?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we probably want to pick some place in the center. Originally, I was going to say we need to be as far away from the lake as possible, but then the whining's coming from somewhere up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm thinking
Oh,
we
you know
pick
what?
like
You know what sound it is
that.
like? You know, like cicadas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're in the south
Oh, do
somewhere,
I know
and
what
they're,
cicadas sound like?
but
Oh
it's
my
like higher
goodness.
pitched than that. But it's like that kind of constantness.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the camp is between the frog and his dinner.
Well, that's what I was thinking. The giant frog and
Gosh.
its giant dinner. I have a feeling something. Yeah.
Well, 808 won't like go sit on the walls, but he'll still stay outside so we'll have some sort of warning of our impending doom.
Excellent.
So 808 was going to keep watch for impending doom. Is that right? Through the night?
Yeah, just like outside the building, not on the walls or anything like that.
Okay. 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 All right. For the rest of you, it's a very, very uncomfortable night. You know, the
I
noise
bet.
of the frog and the noise of this whining pretty much keeps everybody awake, and rest is fitful. So any of the normal recovery that you would make would be half, except for 808, who's not troubled by the triflings of mortal men.
So, do our inactive characters recover too?
You can consider them. Yeah, if you want to track their recovery.
Okay.
That's fine. Especially as we had kind of assumed that they were here at the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Though dawn breaks, relatively, you know, with no further events throughout the night. And the frog finally shuts up about an hour before dawn, and the whining sort of begins to taper off into that sense where it's not audible except for to Ukufa and 808, and then only to 808, and then just barely because he knows it's there. Almost like at the edge of your senses.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it is a new day. What will you do?
Daddy.
I say go into the darkness.
Daddy.
Yes, let's. It sounds like we got that other test chat, but it sounds like those might be not that useful.
You never know. I'm happy to go back down. I think we should also go down. Can we get anyone to operate the elevator for us?
Make a make a personality challenge with one bane.
Let me see. Where's my personality?
I think you will probably.
Because you've got
A
personality.
friend in me.
I think it's personality.
Well, I'm just
Goddamn
doing
character sheets.
I'm doing will. Oh, it was
Yeah, it's a will
13.
challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. There's perception and
Yeah.
defense.
So I should have had a bane and a boon. Nope, it didn't do it.
Didn't really help.
No, it didn't give me the boon though.
A bane and a boon is nets 0.
Oh,
Right.
I see. So it's the plus 0 minus 0 is what that's doing.
That's
Gotcha.
how that happened. Yeah. So this was from Ichabod. Yeah, the miners are like, they had this awful night. They're like, we're not going out there. We're not leaving here until we're leaving. and we might just leave. It's probably only Morgan and Gideon that are keeping them here.
And Opie.
Well, and Opie too.
They don't want him hunting them down in the night. They know they don't want that going on.
Right.
So I take it one of our like Opie can't be up there running the. Because we got to keep him there.
They need to be here in the camp dealing with all these
to keep these guys in line.
Yeah, Morgan's got to be pouting, as any good 14-year-old girl would do.
I'd sleep. Should have been up all night on the internet. Man, I was up all night on the internet.
That's a great line in Incredibles 2. Is she having adolescence?
Is she having adolescence? Yes.
Just because I was looking at boys on Tinder doesn't mean.
Okay, so here's an idea.
Uh-huh.
We kill one of the miners, and then Kufa can reincarnate or reanimate him, and then take him up to Orc the Witch.
Okay, you want to do that?
What? We're not killing anybody to make a zombie. No.
Well, then they can't complain.
We are not going chaotic evil.
See, the only issue with that is we're going to spook the crap out of the rest of our miners.
Yeah, the only issue. Like, that's the only issue. No, I'd say, yeah.
Can you please try again?
All right, well.
I ain't back up the mountain you go.
Jack and Jill.
Went up the hill.
Okay.
So should we go see where this lower area goes to?
You want to descend the main shaft?
Yeah. That's my thought.
So
there you go. I put you in the shaft. I'll put you down at the. Do you want to be at the elevator? The elevator itself is still down there. 808. Now that you're kind of aware of it, you can even underground. You can hear that faint whining noise.
Right.
Okay, that's got to stop.
But it's only 808 that can hear it. And again, it's only just barely at the edge of your peripheral.
So he's basically developing tinnitus.
Yeah, so he's basically developing tinnitus.
All right.
So there are two at the base of the mine shaft. There are two. What is this?
Parallel shafts.
Parallel shafts, one above another. One's a little bit smaller. Other one's like the size of the main mine shaft that you have descended here again this morning.
Shall we see what's hiding in the small one?
Obviously, smaller. It can't be something big that's hiding. So let's go that one.
I was thinking smaller means something far more dangerous. Let's do it.
So it's a climb up there. There aren't really ladders or anything like that sort of extend out there. How do you want to ascend?
It's not that easy.
Unfortunately.
Oh, Mr. Prospector. How do we do this?
Yeah, tell you what. 808. Come here, stand here. All right. I'm gonna
lean.
I'm gonna have him help hoist me up, and I'll pull a rope up so we can get the other two up.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sort of thing works. And you do make it up onto this smaller. Oh.
By the way, I don't have my sword lit. I have a torch.
Oh, do you wanna fire it up?
No.
Oh, that's right. It's a new day.
Yep. I have an idea though.
Yeah, but remember, just half your recovery, whatever it was, except for 8.
Right, I was talking about spells.
Oh. which is half your recovery.
How do you half recover spells?
Well, half of whatever you would
So
gain back,
basically,
half of whatever you had lost, right?
yeah.
Can I round up if I only have one spell to have lost?
Yes. You
Okay.
can round up. Always round up.
Okay, so here's my thinking. I have Control Flame as, what's the little spell? Level 0.
Mm-hmm. That's a
I have-
cantrip.
Right, cantrip, that's it. Thank you. So my thought is the torch gives us a little more illumination, not much, but it also isn't burning a spell slotlet. When we run into something, I can toss the torch or use the torch as a flashbang sort of thing. Toss the torch amongst whatever it is we have to face and use Control Flame to have it just flare, instantly burn up the whole torch, you know. And
Do you have any flasks of oil? That would be really effective.
yes, I do. Actually, I have 6 now instead of 4. I bought them last time.
That might be more effective
Yeah.
in terms of, you know, a flashbang kind of thing.
Sure, but I don't want to toss a whole lantern, but my thought is if we run into combat, then that's my first move if I have to, and then I pull the sword and light it. But right now I'm using a torch.
I
Okay.
think you should, pull out some chains, coat them in oil, and just ignite the chains and go all.
Go all Ghost Rider. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I like
Good.
the oil flask. Toss the oil flask and flashbang that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Pardon me.
I'll
you
let
make
you
it-
light Yukuma's chains on fire.
You make it up into this smaller tunnel, and it's much smaller than some of the tunnels that you've traveled earlier. It's almost like, just a 5-foot gap, almost like a ventilation that you crawled through into this working space, which runs off there to the east to an elevator shaft. And you can see a little bit above and a little bit below, but not much. You can see 10 feet.
I think it is safer for us to walk upright as men intended.
Yeah, you could walk upright in there. You could stand upright. It's just very sort of tight, very claustrophobic. Not claustrophobic, just
But
tight,
Yeah.
Confined.
Confining. That's probably a good word. So following this broader working shaft, you move out to the east there, and you stop as you come on the signs of another battle. You can place yourself where you'd like to be.
It's so hard to get this blood out of the boots, which is
The elevator car is not. You didn't see the elevator car here or here.
Wait, is that the one we called to the surface? Yeah, that's the one we called to the surface.
That's why you don't see it, because it's on the surface.
That's legit. I wonder if we can get 808 to make an automatic device that will winch and unwinch for us. That's
an interesting idea.
Yeah,
Well,
I've got my bag of tricks.
Yeah, you can build all kinds of things, can't you, 808?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking, how do you ration? Yeah, okay.
It's magic.
It takes a little bit of time, and I don't think, and it takes a number of parts to do those things. And I do like to have sort of like a description about what you are making, so we have sort of an idea about what's being created, but it doesn't have to be an accurate mechanical description of what you're building. Just the description of what you're building.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. So,
like a portable device with a wheel on it with some kind of motor that responds to your whistle, and it'll either drive one direction or drive the other direction, right? So it just it would just operate the winch, and then you could take it off and we could move it to the next elevator.
Right, and my thought is that it would probably, because they've got the two pulleys, cables running next to each other. It would actually clamp on the two wires and would have two gears that would go in opposite directions.
Sure, that would just cycle it through.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of
Okay.
like just like the yeah. So that is. Let me just review my requirements for that. Yeah, 1 minute concentration to create an item up to the bag's gold crown value, which I think is at 8 crowns now, or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever gold.
So it's going to take
things we have.
3 parts to do that.
Right.
Make
Okay.
that thing.
Mhm.
And let's draw a little symbol on the map for that thing, because you guys may want to move it around with you or know where it's at at any given time as we're messing around here in this mine.
Well, I figured it's something that unless it's too difficult, I would take off and take with me every time we move the.
Every time you transited from. Okay, perfect. It does take 3 parts to make this thing, so just note it on your character sheet.
Yeah. Okay.
And as you're kind of assembling this, and the rest of the party is exploring this area, the tunnel runs off here into the west, and you find scattered around actually remnants of the fight, these slain insectile creatures. Let me grab a handout for you. Yes, these are them. They're kind of like a big cockroach. But instead of, there are no eyes, just big antenna. And they're kind of look almost humanoidal. Handouts.
Their legs wouldn't happen to have like spiky bits on them, would they?
They are. They're kind of like a cross between like a daddy longleg spider and a cockroach.
Charming.
Fantastic.
Now you said that we're finding these are bodies we're finding down here in the area of the battle.
Yeah, in the area of this fight, in this area of this struggle. Let's see.
First rule of Cockroach Fight Club: no one talks about Cockroach Fight Club.
Nobody goes to Cockroach Fight Club.
Ooh, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
But seriously, I don't think we should tell the guys about this.
No.
You shouldn't tell the Teamsters about it. That's funny.
These guys get really superstitious about stuff like this.
Oh, you know what to do. Oh, fuck it. Choose a file. Uploading.
Working. Stay on target.
Ethan, has the weather gotten back to normal there?
It has.
Did all the snow melt?
It's melting.
Ethan had like more than 12 inches of snow last week.
I had about 2 feet of snow.
Very nice. Very nice, which always freaks out the Arizonans.
Especially considering we've never had this much snow.
Yeah. Well, global climate change is a myth, so don't know what's going on. I'm sorry, is my cynic showing?
How can there be global warming if there's so much snow?
Yeah.
I I need to call Stanley.
Yeah. Please don't.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he might be listening too, so
that's true.
he's preparing a strongly worded letter of rebuke. I read a good article the other day about, or maybe it was this morning, about extremist thought, kind of written from a gamer's perspective, but kind of interesting. I'll share it with you guys. Basically, say his basic point was, all these loud, angry voices are from a small, minority, like 20% or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to drag the rest of them into their
Delusion.
argument, whatever. I'm not sure exactly. I probably need to read it again, but and his thing was just don't engage. Why participate in anything like that? And be the person that you want to be, and stand up against that kind of extreme thought, wherever it's coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, left, center, whatever it is, that kind of unbased, irrational, inflammatory kind of stuff. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I agree. I also feel everything would be better if I were in charge.
Mm-hmm. I think then you and I are going to have a problem because I have to be in charge for everything to be okay.
I could be okay with you in charge. I got no problem with that.
Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens.
That's okay. When I rule the world, it'll all be good.
Okay.
With my rune sword.
With my nice. Well done, Ethan.
What the hell is that thing?
You want to find out? You want to touch it? You want to touch it?
It's dead, right? It's not wandering around.
It's dead. Yeah, they're dead. It looks like they were killed with, scattered mining implements and things. There are no human bodies, just these things.
But they don't have like a big tail that would stab and leave those big holes in the ground, right?
Well, looks like they kind of go around on all fours, and then maybe kind of partially upright sometimes.
I don't know if they did have like a scorpion tail or something I didn't see there.
But they're what you could think of as their hands and feet are long and spiky, and you can see that the earth has been churned up here in that same kind of way as like stakes being driven into the ground, like these things, when they move, they might dig up the earth that way.
Okay. So maybe that's where they come up out of the ground. I bet they're making this noise, so we got to get rid of them. So
I bet they are making noise.
So boobies can sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need to sleep.
It's an excuse.
Just to be sure, there's none of that churning on any of the walls or ceilings, is there?
No.
Okay, so we don't have to keep looking at it.
Good call.
Good thought.
Here it's making a note. Next monster will drop from the ceiling.
Drop from the sky. Rocks fall, everyone dies. Bugs fall, everyone dies. All right, so you've assembled this contraption to call the elevator to you, and
control it without leaving anybody on the surface.
And control it without leaving anyone in the surface or behind it on the lower levels.
Exactly.
Unless I want to.
Right.
Yeah. So be nice to me.
We always are. I say we go just a little further into this blood-stained hellhole.
Okay, sure. Kind of explore the balance of the... Whoops.
It seems really strange that there's no human bodies here.
It's a little awkward, isn't it?
Well, the bodies were all turned into undead.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Remember, because they were miners and guildsmen and other teamsters.
There was about a dozen or more of the first shuffling dead that you found, not the warrior types, not the Viking, not the Viking Wraith Guard.
Creepy as shit.
Good name.
And the passage running east sort of ends in a drop off that just falls off into the darkness. Nope. That's funny.
A little bit of animation there.
That was good.
I say
What
we
I
try out. I say we try out Booby's new device.
Well, I'm keeping that device for myself, but you can use the other one that I made.
We don't know what the first one does.
No, the one for the elevator. I don't want to know. I agree.
That's really what that high pitched whining was last night.
It's a buffer.
Yeah,
Stop polishing your crotch and get to work.
All right. Are you calling the elevator too?
We tried yelling "come" and it didn't work.
Yes, we're gonna use the elevator device.
All right. It's noisy like the last one, like the last elevator. I mean, like grinding and clanking, and the car bangs into the shaft every now and then. But it does arrive, and you can reestablish the device and start your upward
mobility.
Journey. Mobility. Yep. Let me give you some Revelis.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
Squeaky chew.
So the first thing that you notice is a passage that runs off to the west. Pardon me, the east. There, I keep getting those two directions mixed up.
Let's check it out.
Hang on, let me quickly scan my notes.
Oh, there's a dragon there. Oops, I forgot to mention that part.
I meant we're not going there. That's what I meant.
I am waiting for the day that we go in somewhere and there actually is a dragon.
I hope we never, ever run into a dragon.
I think Ethan wasn't there for that experience?
Well, there was the undead dragon.
That's true.
I was thinking about the TPK incident and didn't
the
party kill.
Oh, the one where we decided, hey, dragon and lady with magic.
We got this.
And then my cleric proceeded to spend the entire time trying to call another dragon to fight it and failing.
You guys were close. I mean, you did, but not close enough, I guess.
Oh no! When we had some shit rolls, and you critted twice on
I know,
us.
it was awful.
And I think I was rolling like 3s and 4s on my divine aid, so that wasn't helping.
No.
Right.
No, the god made it pretty clear you're going to be talking in person.
Yeah.
An apology for the marking still on this map. It's something I didn't scrub, but at the end of this passage, which is actually this one is well worked. It's true, and is this rock, this collapse of earth and rocks and soot and scorch marks and broken timbers, broken
Parts.
support timbers.
So there was a fire here.
There's something here. Something happened here.
Yakufa will spend some time looking around the rubble.
Okay, what are you looking for? Are you just looking?
I'm looking for bodies, something interesting.
Something to raise.
Go ahead and give me an intellect challenge.
Okay.
And I'm keeping an eye on support structures and walls just to make sure that it's safe for us to be in here.
Sure. The area before the collapse, there's still some timbers, right? From the pile of rubble, you can see an outstretched hand and of a corpse. The outstretched arm, it's sort of pinned just south of the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Buried beneath this pile of rubble and rock.
You in hand?
It's human.
I'm gonna see if I can't move some stuff out of the way and try and get some more of this body clear.
Okay.
I'll help with 808. Will help with his.
So the two of you are going to try to clear something. There are no tools up here in this passage way. It would just be you're working with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, why don't you both of you give me a strength challenge roll with a bane apiece?
Okay.
Before I do that,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to use my bag of tricks and fashion a couple of like crowbar things.
Oh,
Try to help
like
us out.
implements, tools?
Yeah.
Right. It takes you, that requires 3 parts to do.
Okay. And I'm sorry, the first item required 3 parts too,
Yeah.
I think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want you to know where your parts are going, in
No,
case
right,
you need
yeah,
to break
I-
something down or refabricate or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do create some kind of some very serviceable implements, digging implements, and you can go ahead and drop those banes and convert them to boons.
Thank you.
Hey.
So 1 boon each.
Yes.
18.
Great.
Nice.
Oh, that was almost a 20.
Oh,
Yeah. So I got 7 total.
All right. So you can the most you can get is like up to about the shoulder to the neck, and this part of the torso. You can't really expose the whole of the corpse. It is clearly a miner, though. You can tell by the dress. It's not like any of the guildsmen. It's a working man. Oh, kitty.
I assume this is definitely a dead body.
Oh, it's dead.
Okay. That's
It,
what
it,
I was
it died in
guessing.
it died in the collapse.
Okay.
You're
Right?
trying to tell me
it's
they're
been
all
crushed
dead?
and pulverized.
Yeah. So we're not going to get the whole body out.
There's not a whole body left.
You could spend maybe the rest of the day trying to dig and excavate this thing and probably do that.
Nah, I don't think it's worth it.
Definitely not.
From what's visible, did it look like he has any pockets?
Well, I mean, he's wearing workman's clothes, so yeah, belts and you maybe see the strap of a satchel, that kind of stuff.
So yeah, I'll check any pockets or like.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, you can get to the shoulder and to the neck, and then maybe down to about the waist, and like just half of that, and that's kind of what you're sort of able to expose as like he's kind of turned over, trying to leap away from this collapse.
Okay.
So the collapse is blocking the shaft ahead of us?
It's completely blocking the tunnel to the east.
All right. Well, I think we go up then.
Go up. Now we'll... 808. Well, actually, so you make it to the next landing, and it too is the site of a grisly battle. You don't see any bodies initially in the light, on the feeble light of your torches. But 808, make a perception challenge.
Uh-oh.
And we currently see blackness.
Yeah, I'm working on the reveal. I'm on the wrong layer.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this.
Are you saying that I should fail this perception challenge so I don't see it?
Barely. Oh, that was close.
So you hear you can hear down the end as the platform comes to a halt, and the party sort of steps off, or takes a look at the horrors before you, with no bodies, but just this grisly disturbance of implements and gore. A couple of broken weapons. You hear a scraping and a scratching.
I immediately draw my weapon.
So this is above where I am now, right?
It is above where you are.
We
There's
should be
another.
here.
Yeah, I sort of jumped the gun a little bit.
That's all right. We would have followed the gore rather than gone down the.
You would have gotten there. You would have got there eventually.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll run you over. I'll show you what you saw here on this first tunnel. Cat.
You see a cat? That's not good.
I know, these fucking cats.
Just wait till Morgan finds a familiar and has a kitty follow her all around.
Good, it can operate the elevator.
Except I think it's, based on how it's set up, I think it ends up being a spirit animal. So it's kind of like an ethereal cat.
A shadow cat.
Yeah.
Which means you don't have to let him out the door.
Right.
This is very true.
Of course, our dog is worse than like that. He'll stand at the back door, scratch, scratch, scratch. We open the door, he doesn't move.
I just wanted it open. Thanks.
I wanted interaction. That's Tico's thing. I used to have a bell on the door because Daisy would go ring the bell when she wanted to go out to do something. Well, Tico figured out he could get me to come open the door. She's like, "Oh, I just wanted to see if you do it." I'm like, "Oh, fuck it." So the bell's now gone.
Look at these Pavlovian dogs. I mean, people.
That's it. If you're not training the dog is training you.
All right. What will you do?
Where is the scratching coming from?
Down the passageway to the east.
I think we might want some more light to start off with. We have something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to light my sword.
That provides a little more feeble illumination in the dim torchlight.
Yeah.
And I have
not
my
even
weapon.
as much as a torch.
I have my weapon drawn now.
Okay. Mills, did you have something? Sorry, 808, did you have something?
Nope. Just wanting to try to see better. And well, let's prepare for engagement. And I'd say, is there any kind of like more defensible looking area around us that would be a better place to make a stand?
Well, you do have the platform that you could fall back to. Do you want to leave your special contraption on the platform or bring it with you?
That's a good point. Let's leave it on there for now so we can use it to make a hasty retreat.
To run away?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Well, it's not a good idea to decide to do that, but let's have a plan B. That's our plan B. There you go. Our plan A is to go solve this problem that's ahead of us and survive heroically. That's plan A.
It's Ichabod's plan A.
That's plan 8.5.
So at the end of the passage, you see a mass of workers, a mass of miners, and they're all down there at the end of the hall, scraping and kind of digging, but they're all dead. They're all those. It's another one of those mobs of hordes of walking corpses, and they take notice of you and turn and look, and they start shambling towards you.
And we book it for the elevator.
Yeah, I think that would be a good thing to avoid.
Okay.
If we have to, I can hit them with a cone of fire that would pretty much do, I'd say, fill the tunnel. But I can only do that once.
Yeah. I just realized I have
Actually-
some other fun applications I can do, but I don't have the resources to do it in this mine shaft, so it's not going to be quite as helpful as I'd like it to be.
We don't like zombies. I wonder what they're digging for.
Okay, you made it back to the elevator. Heading up.
Up we go!
I wonder who they're digging for.
I mean, who's in charge, or
Well, yeah, who
who are they
turned
trying to dig
them?
out?
Either way, but who turned them into zombies, and what is it they're having them search for?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can go back down and ask them.
That's Plan C.
I thought that was plan A and a half.
Plan
Part
A and a
two.
half was to be heroic and beat them, but that clearly is not going to be an easy one to do. So we might come back to that.
Heroic is all relative. Running is heroic, right?
He lived to fight another day. I'm just trying to figure out how I paint a mirror. Right now, I'm going with silver.
That's a good choice.
You mean
You could always paint the
portion of the mirror?
reflection. You could always paint the reflection in the mirror. Is it near something else?
No, it's just a freestanding mirror that comes with the wizard study.
Yeah, silver is good.
You could take a piece
You
of
could put
small
some
aluminum tape.
You could rub something reflective onto it,
Yeah.
and turn it into a real mirror.
Yeah.
That's a total Sullens move.
I know, it's a super Sullens. Guys, headed up.
Yes.
Mhm.
Away from the coin-seeking zombies.
Mhm.
Oh, wait a minute. I want to go here. That's what I want.
Oh, sure. Sorry. Sorry, I'm working on the polygonus.
No problem.
It's a short dead end tunnel.
And back up we go.
This is like a small working shaft.
Yeah, I think it connects with the one we didn't finish going into because it doesn't look safe even from here.
Right. It's that kind of narrow, roughly worked shaft. And then here is the next platform that you arrive at.
And another battle.
And you're drawing yourself up into a battle. And here the mob is much closer.
What mob?
The mob of dead miners. And they're
There's another one.
and they're like chocker blocked into here, digging. Oh, what will you do?
Cranking up,
see-
cranking up.
Well, we
Moving
might
to overdrive.
we might determine we have to fight them, but I would like to see if we can avoid it. But I have a feeling we
Sure.
were going to have to.
And
But
then this leads you back to the surface. Then you're back at the top of the shaft itself.
Okay, next elevator, folks.
Let's see, and I have this. Whoops. I have this, which I'm going to move to your token layer.
where's our token layer? There.
Here to show where the car is.
Okay.
Oh, I
Good.
see.
Oops. I thought there was a group. Yeah, group. Yeah, and here's the car. So you want to draw up the elevator and do the same, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay.
The only thing I'd like to do different is not find mobs.
Not find mobs of beasties. Okay.
I'll take a mop of cats, but
Mama cats.
yeah,
Mama cats.
yeah.
Damn it. It's
Because
odd
we'll all
that
be
the
napping.
Huh. How dare you? The group function does not seem to do what it wants to do. Group. Finally. Okay, here, it's another elevator car for you, which we will place at places where you end up leaving it, and you descend into the darkness in the elevator car.
That's it.
Polygon reveal us.
You know us so well.
And you still don't have much of a light source, right?
Yeah, well, I got a torch and a flaming sword.
Torch, but nothing more.
No lantern or anything exciting like that.
So
But
this-
8008 seems to do well in the light, in the dark, excuse me.
Oh, right, 808 can see. When he's on his own, when there's natural light around, it kind of goofs it up. Like
Sure, like infravision or whatever, it makes sense. That's too much signal interference.
Too much signal interference.
Ow.
But what you do have a sense, and it's cool. It's much cooler and draftier here. Like it's a bigger open space that you're moving down into these caverns. Let's see, what do I get? 6 feet deeper and deeper in debt.
Another day older and
Okay. Yep.
that makes me nervous.
Yep.
We're descending into bloodstains. It's like being in a Ralph Steadman illustration.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me reveal what you can reveal as you continue down
to Goblin Town, downtown, my lad.
Down. Going down.
So we're not going to winch I'm not going to winch the elevator car down to the level below us. I'm going to stop about 10 feet above us because I'm assuming that that's, well, maybe it isn't. I'm sorry, I've been painting. What's the yellow skull? Is that the mob?
Yeah, that's the one that's all the way at the bottom of that. I mean, not at the bottom, but in your first descent, you had discovered that mob.
Okay.
And there's a mob here as well, which appears to be trying to dig into where we are. You do.
Well, that's what I was just noticing was that if you look really carefully, it looks like it actually is a dead end there. Because the wall kind of just inside the black shade, it looks like it's a dead end. But I was just concerned that would go through in some way and then we get mobbed from the left.
So as you're kind of winching your way down,
I think they might be looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
And it might be on this side of the wall.
Haha.
And now they're gone. Crap.
Yeah, you kind of shining your glimmering torchlight down, and you can see the mob like climbing through the wall, like it's finally dug its way through into this space where you are now on the other side. And I think you can probably see the little wall here, which is now been breached. just enough so like one kind of squeezes through, plop. And then it's another zombie excretion? Extruding?
That's probably good.
It's a zombie extruder.
Kind of like the old, like the Play-Doh, the Play-Doh. Little,
Yes. The Play-Doh factory.
Yeah.
Play-Doh musher.
This probably would be very dangerous, but do any of us have something that would cause it to collapse in that section to keep them on the other side?
Well, again, I have a cone of fire that does 3d6 to everything inside of it.
I will tell you that in the last session, the guys were throwing stuff that did more than 3d6, and I think they had to chuck quite a few of those things at
the zombies.
Before
Yeah, I think-
808 charged in for the coup de grace, fumbled and collapsed the tunnel above him.
Yes, I recall that.
Crushing the balance. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had done somewhere in the realm of like 22, 23 points of damage at least, yeah, to the mob, and it still wasn't dead till
And the mob's like somewhere between a dozen and 2 dozen. It's hard to tell because there's just
yeah.
So again, we'd like to avoid combat.
Right. I'm gonna step away for a second.
All right.
Well, the question is, do we want to go down and try to get past them quickly in the elevator, not knowing where it's going to end up? We know it doesn't go all the way down to the other mob, but it's going to stop
Right.
somewhere. Or do we stop where we are and lower ourselves to the other side because they're going to have difficulty getting across for a while? Because the other mob is down below us.
Well, they can't get they won't be able to get across because it's like sort of an open shaft area.
Perfect.
They're on one side of the chasm, and but you are bringing the bridge past them, type of thing.
Well,
right?
my thought is if we leave the bridge right here where we're at,
Uh-huh.
we can come down this other side.
Over to here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With like a
Leave
rope or
it
something?
like a rope
A
or
rope or whatever it is that'll get us back up onto our elevator, but then they can't come across.
yes, true. That would be challenging, to do something that went from here to here.
Well, I didn't say it'd be easier, but it seems easier than dealing with these zombies that we're going to be hard pressed to fight.
Yeah, and only like 1 or 2 of them have kind of squeezed through the wall. The whole mob's still on the other side, but it won't be for
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, it's
If
probably
I
a
had
good
a-
idea to. Go ahead.
Say if I just had like 100 or 200-pound rock, I could do something, but I don't have a 200-pound rock right now.
Mm.
Because if I had a 200-pound rock, I could teleport it into the gap and seal the gap.
Well, it's temporary.
Well, there are rocks around. I mean, you're underground.
I say save the teleport until we need to get to somewhere.
Well, I mean,
away
this
from somewhere.
is a cantrip, so this is specifically
I see.
for objects. Yeah. This
And you
particular one.
You can teleport up to 200 pounds.
I can teleport up to whatever I can carry, which is 250 pounds.
Well, you could do that, like teleport a chunk of 250 pounds of earth into that gap and try to seal it up. But you do know they dug through it at some point.
Well, I will.
If you want to do it,
slow
that's
it down.
yeah, you could do that.
All right, I'll do
There
that.
you go.
How many cantrips of do you have?
I have 4 of that.
All right, roll a d4.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it takes at least 2 of those kind of
Mhm.
things to block the gap, to
Yeah.
mine the gap, to seal the gap.
Totally.
And it's tenuous at best. You could use your other 2 if you like and make it a little more structurally sound, I guess.
I mean, I'm up for that if you guys want.
Okay, sure. So go ahead and mark them down.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
you've sealed the gap fairly well. You know it'll last for a while. It at least an hour, maybe more of the of this concentrated digging that was happening.
Yeah.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night,
Grace, Aaron says good night.
So I just put like the tentative breach there for you guys.
There you go. So while he was working on that, I will try to secure with 808's help, or at least oversight, so I don't disappear into the hole, the rope down to here.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me how you're.
Did we decide? Well, we have an hour maybe that these things might not be able to dig out.
Yeah, at least maybe more.
Well, in that case, yeah, let's just go ahead and bring it down to the platform.
Sure.
Okay, so elevator.
Yeah, and then you can just step across. Let me reveal to you what you can see on this side.
And maybe we do need to go down, but at least we're not trying to rush past zombies. Interesting.
No, that'll be on the way up.
Yeah. Well, do we want to go down or find out what's in this warren?
Well, it's not going to go down much further because if you notice the first set of
it doesn't go. That other shaft doesn't go all the way through, and the one that does, it doesn't reach. Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be. With that knowledge, why don't we go ahead and continue down, because we know it's not going to go much further.
Or most likely not going to much further.
Until we hit the portal to another world at the bottom.
Exactly.
808. The whining it's much more audible when you came into this open space, into these open. It's almost like bouncing and echoing off of these. You're kind of like almost in like a cave structure. Big soaring ceilings above you. Let me reveal up some of that so it's a little more clear to you of what's happening where you are.
Yeah, we're in the insect hive.
Oh, descending?
Yes.
Okay. Go. Okay, so the elevator lands on a rock platform, and it's sort of that weird mixture between a worked shaft, worked tunneling, of the miners' work that you've seen, and kind of rough natural cave-like structures. And on the far side of this wall here, you can see bodies embedded into the wall. Whoops.
Okay, that's creepy.
Everybody make a perception challenge. Straight.
Or do we fall off the edge of this little lip I can see here?
You won't fall off. There's another shaft.
Watch your mouth.
Descending here. Yeah, I know. It's awful. It's all shafts up in this place. Going down the shaft.
Perception.
Climbing up the shaft. Shaft. Yeah, yeah.
Nope.
Anybody
Wow.
pass?
I-
No,
I passed.
Ukufa.
I just
Good.
somebody had to make it.
So Ukufa, you smell death, but
I always smell death.
Mm.
but it's like death clawing at life's door, and you can look across at you're looking across at these bodies, and one of them moves. It opens up its eyes, and it's a man. It's a miner. It's like, oh my god, help us! And he can't like reach towards you or anything. It's just you can just see him sort of like stuck onto the rock, like almost like he's like buried in the rock a little bit. Yeah, and then he starts to and then his fellow beside him kind of like rouses and is like, oh god, a rescue party. What will you do?
I immediately look around for signs of any enemies or anything.
Mm-hmm. You don't see any. All you see is these men.
Okay.
And you're starting to get a little bit of a better sense about where you are. You're looking around. 808, what do you do?
I walk over to try carefully paying attention to the surroundings I'm in. I try to walk over and help them, or at least
Get
figure
over
out
to how to get over to them. There's like this chasm of 10 feet or so. And you're gonna have to figure out how to.
Okay, so they're actually in the wall on
They're over here.
Yeah, okay, got it.
You can see there's even like one hanging, like with up here. There are.
I'm noticing there's also a little entrance just to the top, at the top of that wall.
There is, yeah. You can see another tunnel running off to the above you.
So let's keep an eye on that while we're.
Okay. All right, that's what you're doing. You're going up. Ichabod, what are you doing?
I'm calling out. What happened to you? What happened? What's happening here?
And then like more of them wake, and then there starts to be this great babbling of voices, almost like echoing and bouncing off of the chamber walls. God help us! They'll be back. Those damned beetles! Oh, get me out of here! Oh.
Okay, so it's the beetles that have them trapped.
I thought so.
I wasn't sure if it was the beetles or undead, but it probably was the beetles.
I just can't figure out if the beetles are turning them to undead or if the undead are. I don't know.
I don't know.
So, should we come back in a day when the Kufa has his teleport back again?
That's funny.
It works just on inanimate objects, or does it work on living creatures too?
Well, so that depends on the level of spell I use. So the base one that I was using was object. I have one higher level slot that I can do, which will teleport a person.
Okay.
I only have one.
Okay.
I think we should come up here and see if we can't come in from above.
That's a good idea. Except, yeah, okay. Maybe we can rappel down a bit to get to them. Once we get to that entrance on the top.
It just seems safer than trying to get across this chasm that I feel that looks like that we'll fall right into the other zombies. Chomp,
Chomp. Nom. All right, let's do this.
Now he gets to play with his toys. He's really happy.
When you leave, they like start freaking out. They're like, "No, what? Ah!"
We'll be back. Just calm the fuck down.
Miko,
I have a feeling they're in
Miko will check Ichabod.
Shit.
will attack with a bane.
Try and get them to shut up.
They're full of eggs. Okay, so I have a boon. So now I do a -1 for a bane. So it should give one of each, right?
It will net you 0. So it won't throw a d6 with your roll. It'll convert to a flat roll. It should, yeah.
Or it won't, but
I think whatever kind of the conversational tones that you were using over the bedlam and the, of these dozen or so fellows that are trapped in these walls, it wasn't enough. So you come here to the other tunnel, and you can see, again, it's sort of like this chasm sort of situation.
Hold on, I'm seeing something I think is wrong with the roll. Go ahead and keep talking.
I'll look with you too in just a second. Something like this in terms of what's happening with your light, what you can see. All right, let's check out that roll. You threw a 12 + 1 -6. Oh,
right.
It didn't give you. You did it.
It's giving me a bane, but no boon.
Right. So let's see. Your d20 + 1 -1 bane. So why did you have the boon in the first place? I guess is my question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading that +1 as a +1 boon.
That's
just
a +1
of the
from
roll.
your intellect or your will or whatever
Right.
I asked you to roll, and that's because you're probably an 11.
That's it. It's not
And
a +1 boon. It's a plus. That's my misread.
That's a mod to the d20 roll,
There
because every point of stat above 10 nets you a +10 in that, or sorry, +1 in that
+1
category.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So if you were a 13, you'd be +3, for example, right? On your d20, then on top with your banes and your boons and such.
Still doesn't help much when you roll a 6 on the bane, but
That's true.
That's what you have to put up with.
That was the unfortunate nature. And not interesting too. There are not a lot of fate points used tonight, but maybe they haven't been the time to. So you're looking again at like these chasms, this cavernous chasms, and dropping down here. It's maybe 12 feet, 15 feet. This one's a little further across. And you can hear the bedlam below you kind of quieting down.
I do have some fortune points. Good.
Everybody give me a perception check.
Nope.
Nope.
The 808.
12.
So you kept 808. You kept glimpses of movement, and at first you think they're shadows, but it's just like something like scuttling, through from here to here, and then you hear like this. No, God, no! They're back! Oh my God, no! Frank, William, good God! Ah! And then some sort of sobbing and general bemoaning their poor lot in life. What will you do?
It's time to kill something.
I say we go down there and get him from behind.
Which way? You want to
go down? Go back towards where the miners and guys are.
Are you going to climb and jump, or try to establish a rope, or
establish a rope?
Oh, I was going to climb and jump.
Okay, Ukufa climbs and jumps. Go ahead and give me a agility check with a bane for the darkness to see if you land poorly.
This is going to go so badly.
808. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, no.
You might use a fortune point.
That's a good point. I will use a fortune point to ensure that I don't break anything and that I land safely.
Oh, okay. Sure. Go ahead and cross off your fortune point.
All right. Speaking of fortune points.
I am going to cast my
Okay,
magic
you're-
shield spell.
Oh. All right. Opie, you've secured the rope. Kufa, you're looking down there. Do you have a torch, or are you just standing in the darkness?
Give me.
There in the kind of glimmering torchlight from Ichabod above you, you see one of those beetle things comes climbing back up the tunnel. It sees you and it stops. We're in an initiative round.
All right.
Well, I say Ukuf is closest, so he should roll initiative first.
Oh, you guys don't need to roll initiative. You get to go first.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
We're over here. I'm just looking at the initiative tracker. We'll just use the chompy beasts. We've got 808. We've got Ichabod. We've got.
Well, Ichabod is, what is
not,
it?
Not present. We need the swords.
Yeah. And put me on slow because I need to be able to move down and take an action.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. And I was reading the rules the other day about the fast slow thing. Mm-hmm. So when you're fast, you can take one action. When you're slow, you can take a move and an action, or what I like to think is like a move equivalent, like drawing something or doing something, and then taking an action. An action usually means like rolling the dice, but it could also mean, moving or doing a move equivalent type of thing, right? So just what I mean to say is not two spells, not two fights, and not two attacks unless you have character mods that let you do that.
But you can take two moves, which didn't make you move faster or further.
Yes.
It's like a sprint.
Yeah. If you go slow, you can take two moves. These guys are going fast.
The Koof is going to roll a 20 and cut the little fuckers in half. See, my concern is we're going to rescue these miners and they're going to be full of insect eggs.
Interesting.
Maybe they're eating the guys. I don't know.
Well, considering these guys are going fast and I am not close enough to get to them, I am going to go fast to set up defenses.
Okay.
Just so you can go first. Parry.
Dodge, parry, ho. Ha, what?
More like invoke my divine ecstasy to give me a little bit of a buffer in health.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
And scare the living crap out of these creatures.
Let's hope. Let's hope we don't end up stuck to that wall.
Kufa, you're going fast. These things are going fast.
Yep.
Opie and 808 are going slow. All right, go ahead, Kufa.
Ichabod and 808.
All right.
Yeah, who cares? It's the same thing, really.
Well, not really. Not in
my
mind.
I don't want you to think it's Opie because Opie can't be surprised, but Ichabod can.
Right.
Yakufa closes his eyes and lets that spirit inside the back of his mind take control, and he opens his eyes and invokes his divine ecstasy, and just his eyes start kind of glowing, and you see his weapon has a little bit of a glow to it.
Okay. What is the effect that's been created?
For the next minute, I get a +10 bonus to health. I can't be charmed, compelled, or frightened. I can't gain insanity. And I make intellect, will, and perception attack rolls with 1 boon.
And for the next 10 minutes? Is that right?
Next 1 minute.
Next 1 minute. Okay.
Yep.
All right. The thing that's like looking at you, like turns around and scuttles away. And you can see that there are 2 more in the darkness behind it, and they're both scuttling away, but they're carrying each of the 2 behind it are like carrying one of these men with them. And they like climb and they disappear into the darkness. Ichabod and 808, what will you do?
Are there any men left on the wall that we know of? Or did it seem like they carried away all the ones we saw?
Well, Ukufa saw 3, and one of them wasn't carrying anything.
Mm-hmm.
Two were carrying men with them, kind of dragging men with them.
Like one each.
Yeah.
Right. So there might still be one on the wall we can try to rescue and get some information.
There were like a dozen men.
Oh, there were, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were quite the
There are quite a
cacophony.
few. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Let's see if we can do something about that.
What actions do you want to take, 808?
Well, we're at the position where we're going to try to come down from above.
So you're going to climb down, and then what? You have 2 actions.
Right. So since I am heavier and can kind of like wedge myself into this small tunnel, I'm going to hold the rope so Ichabod can climb down and try to address them in.
Okay, let me just show you. Let me just show you what I see in my mind about where the ropes are. So there's a rope here.
Yes.
You don't really need a rope to climb down this part of the tunnel. This is climbable, clamberable, scamperable. And you can Ichabod, what are you doing?
I'm coming down, keeping our party close together.
Okay.
Flaming sword ready to stab some bug in the face.
Okay. She heard aliens and thought they said illegal aliens and signed up.
What?
It's from aliens.
Hudson,
Your mother
Hudson teasing Vasquez on the on the Saluco when they arrive in system at LV 472 or something.
Does Hudson, your parents have any children that lived?
All right. So now you're now above where the men were sort of trapped, and this is you see the bugs scampering away from you in your lantern light, in your lamp light.
Right.
And they are.
Are they climbing up? Or are they going down?
They're like scuttling.
Right, but my question is: are they going up on the ceiling?
They're going away from you, down, 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 and they are.
Is there potential to catch up to them?
They're much faster than you are. What's your speed ratings?
Well, I'm just wondering because I can cast a spell that allows me to double my move.
Well, what's your speed rating? I'll tell you.
It's 10.
Yeah, they're at least as fast as you are. They're already sort of right.
And they know where they're going.
They're sort of right here. Oops. Like disappearing. The last one sort of disappears over the lip.
I thought they might do that, like a cockroach.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure they're not going to be dropping on our heads or running up the other side. As long as they're having to climb down, that's one less direction we might have to watch for.
Sure. Okay, so
as the last one is like vanished or is about
to vanish. Are you chasing them? Maybe that's what I should ask. They sort of vanish over the lip. You guys are out of combat. It's not a combat initiative anymore. They're running from you. Are you chasing them?
I am chasing.
I think you're crazy.
Yakufa's chasing? Okay. All right, Yakufa without a torch.
As I'm running, I will pull out a torch and light it.
Oh, you think you will? Go ahead and make a
You think you will?
an agility challenge with the Bane. with 2 Banes.
While you're holding your two-handed scythe.
Oh no, the scythe got put away. The scythe never even really came out.
Well, it's always out. I mean, you have to carry it with 1 hand. It's just a question about whether you're carrying it with 2
This is a
for
good
fighting.
point. The answer is I was carrying it with 2 hands right now, apparently.
What did you roll? Oh, you fall. You
4.
fall hard. You fall and you fall hard. Take
Yeah.
3 points of damage. But
Well,
you do
that-
you fall hard right here at the mouth of the opening, and you see. Well, you can't see anything. It's dark down there. You know what's down there. I mean, you know what should be down there, but it's dark. You know the.
What does he hear?
You hear. You kind of see the. You know, you see and hear. You know, the cries of the trapped miners as the bugs reappear. You know, the audible sighs of relief as they don't snatch up any of their other companions, and a scuttling into the darkness. That's what you hear. That's what you sense in your attempt to kind of chase and catch sight of them. All right, you're at the edge of the cavern looking into the chamber where the trapped miners are, and I think this is a great place to stop.
Come on, Dad, just 10 more minutes.
Okay, we could.
No, I think
I'm joking.
no, I agree. It is a great place.
We could have an encounter with the miners if you like, or we could just or we could just leave it until next week. I think this is a good place to stop.
Yeah, Yakufa is tripped, and Boobs and Ichabod are just looking down, like, really, dude.
This guy's crazy.
And you've got the insects just scuttling off into the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Now this group didn't fight any insects last week. It was just the undead, if I recall correctly.
Yes, right. The insects are new.
Oh boy.
Ugh.
Well, I will say this: at least it's not gorillas.
Yeah, well, yeah, gorillas, you know, claw bite.
Yeah, they were kick ass.
I swear the gorillas showed up in like everything we did somehow.
Yeah, and they were tough.
Yeah.
Well, how about hits and misses for tonight? Let's start with Nils. Since we didn't hear too much
I like
from you.
twist.
Which twist? What did you find was a twist?
Well, the insects.
Okay.
And finding the guys buried in the walls. That's certainly very effective and creepy.
Yeah, way high on the creep factor.
Yeah.
I don't think I can. Everybody's here, and we all played, and we had fun. I can't really think of any misses.
All right. Cool. Who wants to go next?
Gesundheit.
I think that's you, Ethan. You're next. Hits or misses. You don't have to have any either. I mean, you know, this is sort of an opportunity for me to hear again what worked for you tonight, what didn't work for you, what you liked, what you didn't like.
Hit would have been the coming up with the device to allow us to move up and down the elevators.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering when you guys were going to get there.
It took us a while, but we got there. I'd say when it comes to a miss, just that the insects decided to run.
Oh, right. Instead of stand and fight you. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I would consider it.
I know.
Peter?
They're running away to go warn their people. What is this?
My biggest
natural environment. What the hell?
That's right. My biggest hit was that I was here. That was a big plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other was just this again, a whole other race, species, creature that we've never run into, and from any game, and I don't know what the hell they are. Really interesting. Really, really interesting. So, yeah. we did a lot of
You
running
like
around
the
and
discovery
searching.
of the new thing, the new
Yeah.
threat, the new foe, the new terror in the dark.
Exactly. Like we need more terror in the dark. No. And we uncovered a lot of this.
Of the mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it, really. Well, much of it, I should say.
Yeah, there's still pieces we haven't, but I think we're heading more into the, as you put, the natural parts where the miners may have just started getting into, and they're now intersecting with the bugs.
Mm,
I still
right.
can't quite figure out what's going on with the undead. I don't know if the undead are coming through to try to rescue these guys or what. I have a feeling the undead are what the bugs turn the guys into. I think they eat their brains.
You didn't see any. That's interesting. You didn't see any of the none of the walking corpses, the mobs of corpses had any head trauma, like significant head trauma that would reflect like an insect bite,
Okay.
like a praying mantis bite to the head, chomp. None of that.
So the question is then, are they a different force that's fighting the bugs? Interesting.
Right.
I do get the feeling we're in the middle of something.
I'm not. I was just. That was like an assent about your statement. It wasn't like, yes, that's the right answer.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see. For me, the hit tonight was some of the horror pacing that I was trying with the gradual building of like the things, and then like the crazy roller coaster hill as you kind of went down into the caverns, and then had this first encounter with the trapped miners. I thought that was fun.
I'm glad we avoided combat with the zombies, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and that the zombies are kind of interesting, right? They're like these trapped, not really. They're like these barriers, right? Because of the elevator shafts, they can't where they are. They can't really get to you, except for with some effort.
So that's a good question. How did they get there?
That is a good question. How did they get there, and why? Who put them there?
Well, I think that one set that I can see on the screen right now, I think they died there. They died in that battle.
Yeah. That's certainly plausible.
And so, and this group is also in a blood shaft.
Yeah, that's true. Where you encountered all this stuff has been in those blood shafts, And
I hope the miners aren't insect food. I hope we can save some of these poor innocents. It would be nice.
And then I think you found the bug corpses down here.
On the very bottom battle scene.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fun times, guys. I guess the miss for me would be dying with a bubonic plague over here, coughing in your ears every 30 minutes as I'm chuckling. Well, cool. Same bat time, same back channel next week.
That's my plan.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Looking forward to it.
Have a good one.